finished this season with the best record in the NBA, and James Harden is the frontrunner for MVP. But Mike D'Antoni said yesterday their season won't be diminished if they don't win a title. D'Antoni said, quote, "They set a franchise record, but they'll ultimately be judged if they win a championship or not." Really? He added, "I don't buy it is all about the rings, because there are a lot of guys that got rings that can't play a lick." Shannon, why would D'Antoni say this?
He's trying to take the pressure off him. As Joy was reading in the read, Skip, best record, they're going to probably have the MVP.
Yep.
The Warriors are more vulnerable now than they've ever been in this 3-year run they've been on trying to make it a fourth final. They're more vulnerable. And for you to say, well, if we don't win the title, our season's not. Yes, it is. Absolutely it is. Because your general manager, all he's talked about was chasing down and passing the Golden State Warriors. If this might be the best opportunity you've had or will ever have.
That's true.
And for you to sit there and, well, stand or however you was giving this interview to say, well, if we don't win the title, it won't be a disappointment. It absolutely will. Because, and he used the analogy of Steve Nash, you know, it doesn't diminish him that he didn't win a ring because he won 2 MVPs and he had an outstanding 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It also lets him off the hook. Because who was that coach, Skip, during those 3 or 4 year periods of Steve Nash?
Yep.
With one Mike D'Antoni.
Wow.
And everybody says that's a great offense or a great system in the regular season. But it does not equate to wins and titles in the postseason.
Yep.
So he was also trying to get himself off the hook also by mentioning Steve Nash. Nah, bruh, I'm not letting you off the hook.
Yep.
It's title or bust. You got the best record. You wanted home court. You got it.
Yep.
You got the MVP. No. Without a title, you'll see all you did was win a bunch of games for naught.
So the NBA spotlight is about to be the brightest and the hottest on your man LeBron James,
Yes.
and on James Harden, and on CP3, and on their coach in Houston. Those are the 4 people who got the spotlight right now because, as Joy pointed out, they just went 65-16. That's pretty great.
That's the top 20 record, right?
And yes, it is. And I agree with you. He was trying to take a little pressure off a James and a CP3 who have consistently come up very small in the postseason.
Correct.
Smaller than they even are. And yet, I think it just served to build in an excuse that they just might need. Because if they draw Oklahoma City in round 1, I think they're in trouble. And they still could. It's mathematically possible. Right. I don't know how it's going to fall. But let's quickly look at these 3 people. So James Harden as a Rocket, not as a Thunder, but just as a Rocket. He did make it to 1 conference finals against Golden State in their first title run. They lost in 5 games. And as a Rocket, he is 20-25 in the postseason. And last seen in the playoffs was Game 6 against my Spurs in Houston, the closeout game. And they're still looking for him in Houston because that was just flat out pathetic.
Lost by 100.
Ugh. And that was without Kawhi or Tony Parker.
Correct.
Really? Wow. Then Chris Paul, his record in the postseason is 33-43. Really? Is that great? Is he all-time great? 33-43, and Chris Paul has never, ever played in a single conference finals? Not one. Mike D'Antoni has coached in 2 against my Spurs back in, what was it, 05, and then the Mavericks 06.
And Robert Bacheat shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw a hip check.
Yeah, there was some controversy in that
There
game.
wasn't no controversy.
Yeah, there was some controversy, but still. My Spurs did get a break in that game. I'll give you that. But still, he lost in 5 and in 6 games to those two, to San Antonio and Dallas. And yet, has he consistently coached small in the playoffs? I think he has. And would I want him coaching my team in the playoffs when he's like defense is an afterthought for him? I don't want him coaching my team. But now he's got the team in the Western Conference, right? They should be.
Skip, now, it was reported today that Mbamute is going to miss the first round with a shoulder dislocation.
That is not good because he was a guts and glue guy.
Yeah, he's a premier defender.
Yeah.
But Skip, you win 65 games. You're going to have the MVP. You added CP3.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me if you don't win a title, it's not a disappointment after all that? After think about it, Skip, your general manager for the last 3 years, all he's talked about was the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
That was the model. We have the team to beat them. We can match their firepower offensively. And now here comes Mike D'Antoni going to talk about, well, if we don't win the title, it's nothing, no big deal. Yes, it is, absolutely.
Yep.
That's why you play. And now, we're not saying you can't be a great player if you don't win a title. But all those guys that didn't win a title, Skip, they're not in the discussion for greatest of all time. Nobody brings up Karl Malone. Nobody brings up Charles Barkley when you talk about greatest of all time because they don't have a title. They're great players. But for Mike D'Antoni to say after winning 65 games that you're going to have the MVP and you add an all-star, all-NBA type player, and you're going to tell me that if you don't win the title, it's not a disappointing season, man, you need to stop playing.
So last Saturday night, I watched the Oklahoma City Thunder go to Houston, and it sure looked like the Rockets were trying. I don't know what their incentive or motivation were, but it looked like they were trying, and it looked like Russell Westbrook and company just took over the game in the fourth quarter. And I would see more of same if it ends up Oklahoma City versus Houston without Mbamute in the first round. I would pick the Thunder to win that first round matchup and knock the Rockets right out of the playoffs.
Because anytime you're going to be playing these teams, Skip, you're trying to send a message. You can't beat us. Every time we play, y'all trying to send a message, you can't beat us. Now, I can see if they're in their building, but they came to your building and beat you. So they feel real comfortable if they have to play a game 7. Oh, we've been here before. We've done it before.
They would. Yep, and they know what my Spurs did in that building in a closeout game 6 last year, right?
Yeah, but they ain't got no Kawhi.
Mentality is everything, and that is a weird thing to say going into the playoffs. I mean, regular season championships all day, I guess. Lance Stevenson and Dwight Howard combined for the most unbelievable play of the night, and we'll discuss that next.